This story is one of my all-time favorite cross-dressing stories. It happened when I was living in Los Angeles about 3 years ago. I was working full-time at a financial services company. I had taken up many side jobs since I liked having a little extra cash to spend on the weekends. For the past few months, I had been working at a well-known Mediterranean restaurant located in downtown LA. In addition to being a restaurant, it was also a hookah lounge, so the late hours worked well for me. Generally, people would tip very well, and sometimes I would earn more in one night than I would working a full day at my financial services job. Sometimes celebrities would stop by the restaurant, and I had gotten pictures with a few of them. The only downside was that management was very strict, and we as servers would have to do anything to please the customer. This meant staying late because a customer wanted to chat, driving to a nearby liquor store if a customer wanted a drink that we didn't have, and various other services that separated us from every other restaurant. This story is about a particular request from a very famous customer. Let's call this customer James. James was well known globally and was famous for his dancing, among other skills. He called ahead and booked a reservation for 3 p.m. on Friday. It was already Thursday night when he called, so we had to scramble around to fit him in. He asked that his server was a belly dancer and danced for him while he enjoyed his meal. My manager immediately sent out a message on our group chat once he received his request and asked if anyone could do this. To give some information about myself, I had been cross-dressing since I was in middle school, but only had come out to a few close friends. I recently had stopped since I was so busy with work and wanted to do it more than ever. I also had a very feminine voice and would often get mistaken as a woman when I talked over the phone. Additionally, I had a background in dancing and knew that I could be decent at belly dancing. No one responded to my manager, and a few hours went by. My manager then texted on the group chat that he would throw in an extra $200 for whoever volunteered. I immediately texted that I could do it. I told him I would just wear jeans and no shirt. My manager didn't say anything, and I fell asleep. When I woke up, my phone was blowing up. Apparently, James said that he didn't want a dude and only a woman. My manager was panicking and offered $1,000 to anyone who could find someone on such short notice. I called my manager and told him about my cross-dressing and that I could pass as a woman. I told him I was down to do it, but he had to cover all of my preparation expenses in addition to the $1,000. My manager quickly said yes and said he was so grateful. It was already 10 a.m., so I only had a few hours to get ready. I showered, then put on sweatpants and a shirt. My first stop was a haircut place. I had been wanting to get a haircut for a few weeks, but had been putting it off. I got my hair cut really short so that would be easy for me to put my wig over it. Next, I went to Party City and bought a belly dancing costume. My body was already pretty feminine, so I thought that I could get away with wearing a fairly revealing outfit. My next stop was a waxing place. I got a full body wax. The first time I got a wax, I didn't really like it, but now it was one of my favorite things to do. I liked feeling so clean and slippery. The Brazilian part was a little bit painful, but I enjoyed the end result. My final stop was a beauty store where I loaded up on makeup. In total, I probably spent $900 on getting ready for my performance. I went home and had roughly an hour to get ready. I took off all of my clothes and slid into a black string thong. When I started cross-dressing, I had always worn women's thongs, but they never fitted quite right. This string thong was one of my first male thongs, and I loved how it felt. It was excellent at tucking and made me feel like a woman. Next, I put on a lace bra and filled in the breasts with pads. Luckily, the belly dancing outfit covered my entire breast, so I didn't have to do much work to be convincing. I then applied lipstick and mascara on my face. I decided to go light on the makeup since my face was naturally feminine. Once done, I put on the belly dancing costume. It was a two-piece, and I liked how the polyester felt against my skin. I then attached my wig and put a tie around the top. The tie was part of the costume, and it made my wig look a lot more real. I went to the mirror and snapped a picture for my manager. He called me and said that he couldn't believe how feminine I looked, and had no idea that I dressed up like that. He said that he was super excited to see me. Over the phone, I asked him if he could keep it a secret that I dressed like this, and just say that he had hired a belly dancer. He agreed. I didn't want my coworkers knowing that I cross-dress, since I wasn't sure how some of them would react. The final touch on my outfit was a pair of black heels. I felt so sexy and walked around my house for a bit. I checked my phone and saw that it was already 2:45. I quickly grabbed all of my stuff and made my way to the restaurant. I arrived just as my boss called me to tell me the customer was here. I entered the restaurant and walked directly over to the customer. In my most feminine voice, I said, "Hi, my name is Francesca. I will be helping you today. Sorry for the wait. What can I get started for you?" James made intense eye contact with me and said, "What an honor being served by such a pretty lady as yourself. I will just have some water. I was told that you are a dancer?" I giggled and put my hand on his shoulder. "Ha ha ha. Who told you that? Yes, I am a dancer. Would you like to see?" He nodded. I told him I would go get his water, then start dancing when I returned. I went back to the kitchen and walked directly to the manager. I could feel my coworkers' eyes on me, but I made a point not to look at them. I told my manager to put on certain songs that I was familiar with. He nodded and went to the back room. I filled up some water and got a small appetizer for James. I was serving James the food I had brought him right as the music started playing. It was an Arabic song that I was familiar with, and I began to move my hips to the song. I moved around in circles and swayed my body to the music. Other customers were watching me too, and I was happy to put on a show for them. I moved my belly to the music, and all of the little bells on my outfit made lots of noise as I moved. This continued on for a few minutes until the song changed. I went over to James and asked him what he would like to order. He asked for a bunch of different items. I wrote them all down, then headed back to the kitchen. I handed the list to the manager, then asked him to play some more provocative music. I decided that I was going to put on a big show for James. I went back out, and James looked very excited to see me. The music changed to a Rihanna song called S&M. I took James's hands and put them on my waist. I danced facing him and made intense eye contact. The other customers applauded as I moved around him. James smiled, and I felt his hands gripping my waist. I continued to sway my hips around and do various dance moves. I then turned away from James and felt his hands brush against my bottom. I backed up into him and bounced my bottom to the beat of the song. James grabbed my cheeks and moved his hands to the beat. I felt in the zone and was enjoying the moment. Another server came and brought out his food as we were dancing. Both of us barely noticed. James and I continued dancing for a few more songs until I got tired and got off of him. I left as he ate his food and went to talk to the manager. My manager handed me a check to reimburse me for my preparation expenses and said, "Wow, I saw you two grooving out there. Great job with this." We chatted some more, then I went out to check on James. He had almost finished his food and told me that he was ready for the check. I brought it out to him and he asked for my number. I gave it to him. He seemed to be in a hurry and quickly left without saying anything to me. He left me a few $100 tip, and I left after he left, since I didn't want to stay around to talk to my coworkers. Since that night, James has texted me on a few occasions, but we had always been in different cities, so we never got a chance to meet again. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and comment below what you guys would want me to make the next story about. Thanks.